Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 19:18. Discipline your child, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. Proverbs 29:17. Discipline your children, and they will give you peace. They will bring you the delight you desire. Hello, this is Aunty Mary. I appreciate you for standing by. We are on a series titled Best Parenting Method. Episode 1 was talking on the principles of discipline. Episode 2 was on the how, the do's and the don'ts of discipline. Today, we will be talking on 5 major aspects and 3 minor aspects that you must instill on your children before the age of 3. And we will title that the big 5s and the small 3s. Parents, it is a war that we must win. When you instill these 5 major aspects and 3 minor aspects in your child, by the age of 3 and they grow old, while you are reinforcing it, then you have won. It is a war that you as a parent must win. It depends on you. So you have to be consistent, prayerful, and very determined to win. Do not allow the child to win, but you must be the winner. We are going to title this teaching today, the big 5s and the small 3s. What are the big 5s? The first big 5 is known as no, N-O. Why no? By the time your child is 4 months or 5 months or 3 months for some smart kids, they start pulling your chain, they start pulling your hair, they start pulling your earrings. So what you have to do is to tell the child no. Because if you don't tell the child no, the child will either eat your wig or chew your chain or anything, or put their hands in the mouth. So you have to start with no. For example, if the child is touching my chain, I will say, baby, this is no. And when the child keeps touching, you use your big finger and your thumb and you sting the child's hand when the child is touching the chain. And you tell the baby, this is no. You persist until the child stops. When the child is pulling your hair or your earrings or any other thing, or putting the fingers in the mouth, you use no. Why do we insist on you instilling this aspect in your child? When that child will be a teenager, and for example, a girl going after a boy, when you say, my child, this thing that you are doing is not good, the child will listen, because you have trained that child to listen to no. The second major aspect is obey. When you tell the child no, and the child keeps touching, you now insist by saying obey. When the child doesn't obey, then you sting the hand. And you start using obey as soon as the child starts doing what you don't want. So when the child keeps touching your chain or putting the hands in the mouth, and you say no, and the child doesn't listen, then you use obey. The third aspect is come. You use come when the child starts creeping. For example, if you are a mom and you are holding hot water in your hand and the child is creeping towards a dangerous object, say fire or a pot of hot oil, since you have already trained the child in no, by the time the child wants to touch the pot, you say no. A child who has known no will not touch. When the child keeps insisting, you say obey. When the child stops, then you tell the child come. Come is a very, very good aspect that you must instill in your child when the child starts creeping. Because when the child will be a toddler and you are going out with the child, or you are in the street to escort a friend who visits, and you are discussing with a friend without knowing, if the child is about to cross the road and you are far away from that child and the child is going inside the road, it's very easy for you. You just say, baby, come. If that child doesn't know come, the child will keep going and a car may hit the child. So calm is very important. When the child will become a teenager, when he or she is going wayward and you say, no, obey, stop this, by saying calm, that child will stop it because the child has been trained to obey you as a parent. The fourth aspect is hush or shh. This is very important. You start working on this when the child starts nagging, complaining, shouting for no reason, making unnecessary noise. So you use hush. When the child keeps insisting, you say obey. When the child keeps insisting, then you take the child to the room. You explain to the child why you are taking him or her to the room, and you spank, as I said in the other video, on the do's and the don'ts of discipline. So we don't allow the child to keep disobeying, but please be vigilant. When the child disobeys once, you take the child to the room and you use the rod and you spank. So hush is also very important when you are in church. Maybe the child is making noise, or you are in a meeting, the child is nagging, you are with people discussing and the child comes nagging, complaining. So you say hush or shh. That is the fourth aspect. The fifth aspect is open and give. This one is also very important because when children are creeping, they can pick anything and put in the mouth. Sometimes a child can even pick a blade, a razor blade, and hold in their hands, or pick a needle or any dangerous object. To teach the child how to open and give, you open your own hand and you say, baby, open and give. As you are opening your hand and showing whether the thing is in the child's mouth or is in the hand, you say, open and give. The child will definitely listen, then will give you the thing. If the thing is in the child's mouth and the child is struggling to swallow the thing, you tap the jaw and say, baby, don't swallow. Baby, no. Open and give. And then you open your own mouth and you make so that the child will learn how to open the mouth and give. By so doing, that child will not take in something that is not necessary. Imagine a child putting a living thing in the mouth, like millipede or something living, and you send your own finger to remove. You might instead kill that thing in the child's mouth. So it is never advised for you to send your hand in the baby's mouth. You just tap the jaw and say, open and give. The baby will open the mouth and give you that thing. Why is it important for parents to instill these 5 major aspects in their children? When you see what a child is doing now, stretch it to the future and see how that thing will affect that child in future. A nagging child, if you allow your child to nag without you disciplining that child in future will insist on his or her point and will go into trouble. If you don't train your child to come, to listen, to obey, to hear no, in future, when that child will be a young adult or a teenager, that child will not listen to you. So it is very important for you to instill those aspects in the child. The child has to get the big 5s at the age of 17 months. That is 1 year, 5 months. You must be determined that by 1 year, 5 months, the child should be able to hear all these 5 aspects and obey you. We go to the little 3s. The first little 3 is diaper change. You know, when you want to change a child's diaper, the child wants to play, the child is kicking with the legs. So what you have to do is you press the child's laps down and you say, baby, no. When the child lies still, then you touch the diaper. If the child doesn't lie still, please don't touch the diaper. So you keep saying, baby, no, and you press the laps down. You keep saying, baby, no, and you press the laps down. When you say once and the child doesn't hear, the second time and the child doesn't hear, you sting the lap with your finger and this thumb. Then you press the legs down. When the child lies still, then you change the diapers. This helps, especially when the mom is in a haste and struggling to dress the child fast so that they go out. You don't allow the child to play when you are changing the diapers. What if the child had poo? In playing with that poo, the child will soil the bed, soil the dresses, soil many things, and will give you much work. So when you train the child to lie still, you will not have any problems. The second little tree is sitting still. You start with sitting still as soon as your baby starts sitting. You train the baby to sit for 2 seconds, you increase it to 5, increase it to 10 seconds, increase it to 1 minute, to 2 minutes, depending on how the child is responding. When this child sits still, you are teaching the child to grow or to learn the skill of concentration. And you know how a child who concentrates can be adored, especially when they reach the school age. In class, teachers, they take note of children who sit and they concentrate. They will pay attention to such students and they will be at the top level. So it's good you train your child with sitting still as soon as possible. When the child sits still, it is also a skill that you are instilling in the child so that the child will be able to take instructions. When you are giving an instruction to your child, especially the young ones, you come down to their height. Maybe you stoop low or you sit down or whatever, so that you will have eye contact with the child and then you give that instruction to the child. So when you help your child to sit still, you are helping that child to listen carefully to instruction in future. In order to reinforce sitting still in your toddler, when you are going out, look for color pencils and a clean sheet of paper and give them to draw whatever they want to draw, whether you are going to church or for a meeting or for a visit. That will help them to sit still and to do their own things while you are busy with your own things. So the third small tree is eating habit. Do not allow your child to scatter food or to mess up the environment when the child is eating. And you start training the child in that when the child starts eating. Maybe at 7 months or 6 months or whenever. Do not allow the child to blow out food from the mouth, because some children are fond of blowing food like when they are eating. So do not allow your child to blow food. When the child does that, you discipline by spanking the hand or the lap if it's still a baby. But when the child is 2 years and can sit and eat alone on the table or alone, do not allow the child to scatter food around. You discipline when you notice such a habit. This will help the child in future, or this will help when you take the child out to visit a neighbor or to visit or for an occasion, or when visitors who are adults come around in the house and you are eating on the table. No adult would like a messy child. So these are the small trees that you have to instill in your child. And you must accomplish this at the age of 3 years. So parents, if you are able to instill these 5 major aspects and 3 minor aspects in your children by the age of 3, then you have won. Then you have prepared wonderful adults who will go into the society. Adults who will submit to authority, who will grow in wisdom, self-control, and good life skills. Parents, never say no. When you say no, it means you are training the child to obey you when you say no the second time, or obey. Please say it just once. And you use obey to reinforce any of these aspects. So when you say no, you say obey. Don't say no, obey. In our next teaching, we will be talking on helping your child to be successful in future. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.